Hey everybody, it's Jennifer, and I am doing this video, a special Mother's Day video, on a couple of different levels. So this may be a lengthy video. We'll see how it goes. For those of you, first of all, before I get started, I want to wish all of the women out there that may be watching this video a happy Mother's Day. Some of us, like myself, have not given birth to a physical child. However, as women, we are the mothers of the planet. So we give birth to many different things and many different elements and principles in our lives and in the environment around us. So whether or not you physically have children, or you are an artist that gives birth to paintings, you are a musician that gives birth to music, you are a chef and you give birth to wonderful cuisine for your family and loved ones. Whatever the case may be, I say happy Mother's Day and thank you for blessing this planet with your presence and your gifts. So, this video is going to be a good one, and it's probably going to be a little emotional for me. This is actually my first Mother's Day without my mother, my physical presence of my mother. And I've, obviously had my whole lifetime, and up until this point, I have not experienced any Mother's Day that I was not physically with her. And so I'm going to allow these tears to flow as I feel them, because I know myself, how I'm feeling, and I have some other friends and people that I know who have experienced the loss of a mother over the past year or so. And it's a painful process. And it's not necessarily painful because of me worrying about her or anything along those lines, or feeling like, I've been cheated, or why is God doing something to me, or anything like that. It's more just an aching pain for the physical presence of the person that you love, the physical presence of somebody who knows you, who always has your back, and who you can talk to about anything. So this is a challenging time for me, but it's also a big blessed time, because I know that the principles and the things that my mother gave birth to, she did give birth to me. I am her only child, but separate and aside from physically giving birth to me, she also gave birth to amazing set of principles and ideas that I am now the heir to, and I'm extremely grateful for that. And a lot of those principles I want to share with you, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But for those of you that don't know, my mother actually passed away from breast cancer last year, in November of last year. And while it was a challenging process, it was actually one of the most beautiful processes that I've also ever been through in my life. And I guess, for some of you, that may be kind of hard for you to understand, that, the process of watching my mother go through her transition to another field of existence, because I know for a fact that this is not it. This planet, this human experience, this life that we're living right now is not all that there is. So in recognition of that, I also recognize that the process that she went through was one that she needed to go through to get to the unseen field that she wanted to be in. So I'm grateful for that. But what happened is when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, it was actually stage 3 breast cancer when she was diagnosed. I ended up doing a lot of research. I did a lot of research. I read books, I watched videos, I spoke to people, and time again, one of the biggest things that I kept reading was that breast cancer, or with any type of cancer, the statistics for survival, what they consider survival, when you get to advanced stage cancers, is not very high using traditional medicine. People go through chemo, they go through radiation, they go through surgery, they go through all these different things, and then they end up suffering, in physical pain, losing all their hair, stressed out, can't eat, can't go anywhere, can't do anything, can't enjoy life at all, and then they die anyway. And this statistic is much higher for people who have other types of health challenges. So if you have, let's just say, a kidney issue, which is what my mother had, due to her elevated blood pressure that they were trying to control with pharmaceuticals, which I'll talk about that more as well. Because of her kidney issues, and just doing the research about what what the doctors wanted to do to treat her, we jointly decided that she did not want to go through that, and so she decided to go on a holistic journey. And this journey was one of the most mystical and amazing experiences of both of our lives, because during that process, my mother learned to open up her heart, to live a life with more love and more openness to people that maybe didn't fit the profile of, so many of us, we restrict ourselves from connecting with other people because they don't fit inside this little box that we have drawn for ourselves. What society says is normal, or what people say is acceptable. We shut ourselves down and don't choose to connect with those beings, not recognizing that they are also individualized expressions of God. They're also individualized expressions of the oneness, but we don't connect with those people because they don't share our political views, they don't share our religion, they look differently, they've got long hair, they got short hair, they like the same sex, whatever the case may be. And we basically shut off that love energy that's all around us. We shut that off. During my mother's journey, she learned to open her heart again to humanity, and she connected with people that looked different than her, people that had different beliefs. She started to live more naturally. She gave up the chemicals that we are so readily, indoctrinated that we need in order to survive in so-called modern society. We have all of these high chemical cleaning agents that we use to clean our house, that have all these toxic fumes that we can barely be in the same room with, and we use these things to so-called clean our homes, not recognizing that these chemicals are being ingested into our bodies and are making us physically ill. They're weakening our immune system, they're weakening ourselves, and we do this every day on a consistent basis. We have, of course, the additives and the processed food that we consume on a daily basis. For some people, they eat foods out of packages, they drive through to eat, and then we can't figure out why we're overweight, or why we have acne, or why we are just not feeling energized, and all these different things. So as she went through this process, we learned more about nutrition and what what actually is a natural food and what isn't a natural food. There's so many things that we eat on a consistent basis, or that we put into our bodies on a consistent basis, and we don't even realize that these are not even natural foods. These are not even you know, foods that are, or animals even, that have been put on the planet by nature. These are man-made items that so many of us consume, and then we can't figure out why we're having so many different issues with our bodies. And so I learned all of these principles, I learned all of these ideas, and you know, even though my mother ended up making her transition, I consider the journey that we went on and the self-discovery that we both experienced in that process to be extremely highly successful. And it was exactly what her spirit desired and what was actually her gift to me, and by extension to you as well. And I'll explain that a little bit more in a minute. My mother's birthday is in August, and the August before last August before she made her transition, I decided to take her to a place where you paint. You know, they have those places where you can paint, and they have like this instructor who teaches you, you know, how to create this particular work of art. So they have like a sample photo or a sample painting, and then they give you kind of instruction on how to replicate that painting. And so I decided to take her to one of those places, and we went. And you know, my mother is very she's always been a very left brain person. She's always been a very control oriented person, a very organized person, a very regimented person. And of course, with this illness, it kind of, you know, she had to release control. There was a lot of things that, you know, you just cannot control when you are facing some type of illness. And so a lot of her right brain personality, the creative side, the pure love, the pure joy side of her spirit came out as a result of this journey. But during this birthday gathering that we did, where we went painting, we sat down to kind of replicate what the instructor was doing, and the next thing I know, my mother just started painting. She started painting, she started painting, and she started painting, and she didn't stop. And I look over and I'm like, this painting doesn't look anything like the painting that the instructor showed us, which was fine, of course, you can do whatever you want. But what was more interesting to me was that she painted, and she painted the words, change your mind, change your life. Now this is not the first time I've heard that phrase. Not at all. But in looking at her journey and what she was experiencing, and you know, just also taking into account the fact that we're in a class that's kind of talking about copy what the instructor did, and she's Miss Left Brain, follow the rules type of person, and she decided to just go total right brain on me and just, you know, draw her own thing and then say these words. It really impacted me. It really impacted me in a very deep way. And I recognized, it wasn't really until she made her transition in November that I recognized the true power of what she was relaying in that message. When you change your mind, you will change your life. When you change the programming or the preconceived notions that you have about life, you can actually change your life. Most of us don't even realize that our beliefs and our behaviors and the things that we do are not really our own. half of the things that we believe, that we think that we believe, are things that have been given to us by our families, by our communities, by our society, by the media, by our social background, by our economic background, by our racial background. All these different elements are things that have kind of shaped us into who we are right now. But most people haven't sat back and really looked at, why do I believe what I believe? Why do I behave the way that I behave? Why do I eat certain foods, or, why do I eat certain foods that I know are unhealthy to me? And I have all these health challenges, but I still go ahead and eat that way. Why do I judge other people for their journey and call it, religion? We say, we condemn other people and say, hey, you're going to hell because you're doing this and you're doing that. But, why do we do that? Is it because of our own inner spirit and our own experience of God that's telling us that this is the truth? Or is it the programming that we have received from our families, from our religious institutions, from our society, that tells us that this is acceptable over here and this is unacceptable over here? This is how you have to behave in order to be accepted, and this is what's not acceptable in society. Who determines that? Who has given us this blueprint or this idea that there are people that are more worthy of love and admiration and joy and peace and abundance than other people? That is absolutely a lie. That's a program that so many of us have been given that we don't even understand why or where we think that way. So what happened was, I was actually motivated to start a website, and it's actually changeyourlife.changeyourmind.com. And the whole concept of this website is to create a space for individuals to come and reprogram their mind with information, kind of deconstruct all the different programs that we have received about our worthiness and our ability to create the life that we want. A lot of people don't feel that they deserve abundance, or that they deserve love, or that they deserve to be happy, and they can't figure out why. Well, a great deal of that has to do with the program that you have received. It may have been a program from your parents. Maybe your parents were hypercritical of you coming up. They always said that you weren't good enough, that you weren't smart enough. Maybe the school said that. Maybe, you got held back in school, all these different things. And so as you got older, you stopped taking chances, and you stopped, asking questions, and you stopped being who you really felt inside, because someone else had put their program into your spirit that this is who you are. This is your role. This is your status. And so you accepted it. The website is all about creating a space for people to deconstruct these ideas. And one of the things that I want you to understand is that you can absolutely create the life that you want in any category. You can also, I just lost my train of thought just that quickly, and I'm just gonna keep going because it doesn't matter. It's okay. I don't have to be perfect. I can forget some things sometimes, but the only thing stopping us from having the life that we want is our own belief in our ability to achieve those individual goals, and our idea about our worthiness to achieve those goals. So I'm going to kind of deconstruct, we're going to deconstruct some of these ideas and some of these programs and some of these things that you've been given that are keeping you offline, that are keeping you disconnected from your spirit, from who you are, and from your capabilities. And just an example, a lot of people don't realize that, this is just an example, fluoride. There's fluoride that's been added to our water and to our toothpaste that people use on a daily basis, but people don't understand or know that fluoride is actually something that interferes with your perception. It actually takes your third eye, which is your perceptive abilities, offline. So it's not an accident that these companies, these corporations, these entities are doing that to people in society, because they recognize that people who are awake, that are aware, and that know who they are, and their ability to create and to live the life that they were born to live, that is full of purpose and meaning, they don't want you to understand that about yourself, because how can I convince you now to go work for minimum wage for my company if you are tied in and plugged into who you are and your own creative capabilities? That's part of a construct that's in place to keep people disconnected from their power. That's just one example. Another example is our food supply. You have a situation now that people are literally having to pay double and triple the amount of money in order to get food, to get produce and animal products or anything of that sort that are not either genetically modified or are not ridden with pesticides. And so now you have people that are getting cancer and diabetes and all these different illnesses that were not in a situation that people in the couple past generations had to deal with. You have situations where literally, if you talk to 10 people, 10 people have a friend or family member. Each and every person that you line up of those 10 people have a friend or a family member who has been impacted in some form or fashion by cancer. Now think about that. 10 people, every single one of them has been impacted in some way by cancer. Now why is that? A lot of it has to do with our environment, the chemicals that we are consuming, like the cleaning agents, all that good stuff. And a lot of it has to do with our food. The energy behind the food that we are consuming. Do you understand that if you are consuming an animal that has been tortured and abused and ridden with pesticides, that when you consume that animal, you are taking on the energetic frequency of that animal. So now, you may eat some cow, you're eating a steak, and you talk about mad cow, you become yourself a mad cow. You become angry, you become aggressive, you become all these different energies as a result of the food and the elements that you're taking into your body. All of this impacts your cells. So this is all information that I think a lot of people are really not aware of. That is something that I grew into awareness just going through that whole experience with my mom. And so it motivated me to put together this website and create a community that is all about educating the masses about what's really going on, about really creating, being co-creators of our lives, and not just going through the motions of our everyday experience, just making a living, paying our bills until we die, which is kind of the model that so many people are living. Each and every one of us has a purpose and a reason why we came to this planet. And until we can really understand that and plug into our purpose, we're going to be just sleepwalking through life and doing all these different things, uh, there is an energy that develops in people that have not fulfilled their purpose, or who are in pain, or who have anger issues, or um, fear, doubt, and worry, all these different elements. They take root in our physical body and they manifest themselves as diseases. So we need to learn how to unravel these things, how to release unforgiveness, how to learn to love and accept those people around us, how to get out of judgment. All these different things are elements that physically can cause you to become ill. So what I want to invite you to do is to check out the site. It's again, it's changeyourlifechangeyourmind.com. And starting on Monday, which is, what is today? It's Monday, May the 12th. I'm going to be starting a weekly live podcast where I'm going to be interviewing different individuals who are educating the masses, making an impact in these categories. So we're going to be covering everything from nutrition to holistic healing, to herbalism, to people that have been able to cure themselves of serious chronic diseases such as cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure. We're going to be talking about environmental issues. We're going to be talking about spirituality. We're going to be talking about sacred sexuality and tantra, how to harness your sexual energy so that you can use it to create the life that you desire, how to release sexual shame, and all these different things. So we're going to be talking about a lot of really, really very cool topics. And I want to invite you to follow us on Blog Talk Radio at the link below and get plugged into this community. Oh, another element. For those people who are in this holistic area and are having events, we've actually also put together a calendar on the site where you can list any upcoming events that you have that are in any of these categories. Anything that is about people living a more holistic lifestyle. So this is not, centered on a particular city. I'm actually here in Atlanta, but we're taking events from all around the country. So if you have an event or you know of an event, definitely email me at the email address below. And we're taking email submissions for the following week by Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So if, let's just say that you have an event coming up next week and you want it to get listed, you would need to get it to me by Sunday, the previous Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in order for it to get listed for that same week. Hopefully that makes sense. And we're probably going to make it, we're probably going to have the site set up so that you can actually auto submit your own listing, so you won't have to do that. But for now, just email me those listings and I'll make sure that they get up on the site as soon as possible. Additionally, we're going to be hosting conferences, and I'm going to share more information about that probably in a few more videos, because I have some really exciting stuff that I'm in the process of putting together and masterminding with some individuals in regards to that. But we've got some really exciting things that are moving forward, and all of these concepts these ideas and these principles have been birthed as a result of the journey that my mother went through with her cancer, with breast cancer. And so I want to say to those of you that are in a place where you feel like, why me, and why my loved one, why did they have to suffer, why did they have to go through what they went through, I want to share with you and express to you that there is something in that experience that is being birthed in that experience. Now, if it's something that you're going through currently, look for whatever is being birthed in that experience right now. Maybe this experience is teaching you how to be more present, how to love more fully the people around you, how to appreciate the people that you love more. Maybe it's taught you to be more mindful of the things that you put in your body. Whatever it is, there is a purpose for that experience. And likewise, if you have lost a loved one and you are still dealing with that grief and that pain and that emotion of stagnant energy where you're just feeling like, why did this happen to my loved one? Take that experience and look for the gift. There is always a gift in every experience. There is always something that you can look back and say, you know what, if that experience hadn't happened, then I wouldn't have met this person, or I wouldn't have realized this, or I wouldn't have learned that. And if I hadn't learned that or experienced that, I wouldn't have been able to share this with others, or express this for others, or live the life that you were being born to live. What a lot of people don't realize is that your biggest pain in life is tied to your purpose. That's what you need to think about and remember. When you go through those experiences that cause you the deepest amount of pain, and you just cannot figure out, why in the world am I going through this? You've got to recognize that that experience is in line, and it's tied to your purpose. So there is something that is being birthed in that experience. You are getting stronger, you are getting wiser, you are getting the knowledge that you need in order to take yourself to that next level. And if you don't go through that experience, if you didn't experience that, you would not have the tools that you need in order to fully live and express what you came to do. And it's just, I'm getting goosebumps right now just as I talk, because I can so feel the spirit of my mom right now. So I know that me sharing this information with you is part of her purpose and her journey and her gift to not only myself, but to all of you. So I invite you to come with me on this journey, and let's transform our lives and be more truly ourselves and who we are being called to be. So I guess that's it. This is 32 minutes in. I've been talking. Who knew? But that's it. I definitely pray that all of you have a fantastic Mother's Day. Love your loved ones. Appreciate them. Love on them as much as you can while you can. But until next time, just remember to dream big, to love bigger. God bless, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye-bye.